talk about casting director workshops. When you're a new actor and you're struggling and you don't have a lot of industry connections, it's really frustrating to figure out how to meet casting directors. Because there's a system in place, right? Actors don't have connections to casting directors. Agents and managers have that connection, you don't. But there's this teeny tiny loophole in place, which is the casting director workshop. However, they are shrouded in controversy. You're not supposed to take them, they're shady, you're paying to meet a casting director. And I totally get all of that. Auditions are free. It's one of those scam alerts. You should never, ever, ever pay to audition for a casting director. If you ever get a notice on Actors Access or one of those self-submission sites that says you need to pay for this audition, run. Run away as fast as you can. So why are casting director workshops different? First of all, a casting director workshop is exactly what it sounds like. It's a night or a day or whatever where you pay money, and it's an educational experience. You get to be in front of a casting director. They tell you about their office. They tell you about their auditions, their sort of do's and don'ts in their particular office. And then you get to read for them. It's either one night or a 3-week period or whatever it is. And you get to meet them and actually audition for them, except it's not an audition technically. It's a chance to perform for them. A few years ago, the city went through and shut down all of the shady casting director workshops. There used to be so many of them. And actors caught on to it. It felt really shady. So the city went through and they shut down all the ones that weren't educational and being run in a good way. So let that give you a little bit of peace of mind, that the ones that are still up and running, they know what they're doing and they're not just taking your money. So how are you supposed to approach these workshops? How do you make sure you're going to the right one? How do you make sure you're meeting the right people? First of all, no, you may take a couple that end up not being great for you. From the casting director's point of view, please know this is not their job. This is something they do after their job is done. They are doing it to meet new actors, to meet unrepresented actors, to meet actors who are not getting in the room. A casting director's job is to know actors. So at the end of the day, when they're done casting their shows for the day, they are taking time out of their day to meet new people. But yes, they may be exhausted. They may have had a horrible day where they were yelled at by studio executives and producers and directors, and they may be having a hard moment. So it may not be the warm and fuzzy experience you might have imagined in your head. So number one, vet the studio you're going to. Call them, see if you like the way they handle things. When the city shut down all the workshops, they put a bunch of rules in place. And I don't know the exact rules, but I know that it has to be educational. There has to be a curriculum in place. They cannot take headshots, a bunch of different rules, and you can call and find out what those rules are. Number two, vet the class you're taking. Is the person an assistant, an associate, or a casting director? A couple of weeks ago, someone in my comments on Instagram got really mad at me for some reason, and they were saying, you know, all of your credits on IMDb, you were mostly an associate, and associates do nothing, they're clerical, they don't see actors, blah, 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 blah. Here's the thing about associates. Office to office associates work very differently. I was a very lucky casting associate in that when I was an associate, I functioned a lot like a casting director. I ran my own sessions, I called in my own actors, I did a lot. So if an actor took my workshop as an associate, I had the power to then bring them into my own sessions. Some associates don't. My advice to you when you're looking at casting director workshops is if the casting director themselves is available and on the schedule, take their workshop. There is no guarantee that casting director is going to call you in. You are just going in to get on their radar, to impress them, to show them what you can do. I cast this procedural called Body of Proof, where every episode we had like 20 co-stars, and it was a really hard show to cast. So sometimes when we had that many co-stars, I would just go through my workshop files and call people in. Lots of people have been cast after these workshops. They also have agency manager nights, they have voiceover classes, they have tons of different stuff. So do I understand that it feels icky and gross? Of course I do. But in the beginning of your career, when you have no access to casting directors, do I think it's a good idea? I absolutely do. But you are in charge of your own career. If it doesn't feel good to you, do not do them. And here's my advice. Remember, for every workshop you take, you're going to hear different information. Remember that information is not rules, it's office to office information. So one casting director will say, never, ever, ever wear stripes. The next one will say, never, ever, ever ask for time before your audition. The next one will say, we hate this in self-tapes. And the next one will say, we love that exact thing. You are smart. You know what to do in your auditions. Just take notes. So in this office, they hate this. In this office, they love that. So you know when you go in for that office or when you tape for that office, you're gonna follow those rules. It's just another way to be proactive in your career. And if you hate all this advice I'm giving you, throw it away. What do I care? I hope this is helpful. And remember, guys, I'm getting good at this. If you like this, like and subscribe. And tell me what you want for the next video.